and welcome today in Woburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone. We tape on Mondays, as those of you who watch often know. So, sporting our St. Patrick's Day green today. I'm very excited to be here. Lots of fun across the city today. Lots of sea of green and smiles, which was awfully nice. We've got some new things to catch up on this week that are things that are happening across the city. And as always, we'll start with Mayor Concannon. Welcome.
Hi, Samantha. How's it going?
Good. I was really enjoying at the Senior Center breakfast this morning. They had a real sea of green. I don't think there was a single person there who wasn't sporting green and sparkles. It was nice.
Yeah, look great. Great to see everyone decked out in the green. I have my green suit on and my green tie. We had a full house up there, and they had a delicious breakfast served by Peenie's, the new restaurant up in North Woburn, who's doing a great job. And they were very generous to our seniors today, so we appreciate that. We had Mossy Coughlin doing his Irish music, which was well received as always. So it was a fun morning.
Yeah, it was really fun. I know you also did the flag raising as well.
We did. We raised the Irish flag down at the Irish American Club in the South End. Good time by all. And I think they're having some more events tonight. I know they have dinner at maybe 5:30 and Irish step dancing. Of course, by the time this airs, it'll be old news, but it should be a fun night for them.
It sounds really fun. I know in my crock pot at home is some corned beef and potatoes and cabbage. So that's what we'll be eating in my house tonight. I'm sure made all the wrong ways. The Italian in me doesn't really know what I'm doing, but it comes out okay.
Yeah, we won't be having that in my house, and I'm fine with that.
Well, thank you for joining me. Late last week, we had a planning board meeting. It was a bit of a marathon. Some big, important things were talked about. And one of the things that was talked about was the accessory dwelling units, or ADUs. I know we've spoken in the show about this before. Ultimately, the planning board voted to send down a favorable recommendation, but there were some questions they encouraged City Council to explore before any final votes were done. And I thought it might be a good opportunity to have you talk a little bit about what those things are and kind of where we are in investigating them.
Yeah, so the accessory dwelling units ordinance that's being reviewed right now is in response to a state law that requires all cities and towns to allow for accessory dwelling units, which are essentially, well, what we'd call in-law apartments, but there's no requirement that family members actually live in these. So this state law was passed, and right now there is a default allowance for any community in the Commonwealth. They must allow for ADUs. What we're doing now is trying to tailor that law and put it into our ordinance book, format it so that it fits in, and that there's a reasonable amount of language change you can incorporate at the municipal level, but anything that deviates from the state law must be reasonable. So we're going through that process now. There was a committee that was formed after the law was enacted, a local committee here that just informal, made up of the city solicitor and city council president, zoning board of appeals chairwoman. They kind of looked, there were a couple of others, building commissioner. They looked at the state law and tried to understand how best to incorporate it into the city of Woburn. I will tell you that throughout the process where they were reviewing it, the state was also continuing to issue guidelines and bulletins and updates on how best to incorporate it. And this happens a lot with state laws. So that group came up with a draft ADU ordinance that they proposed. And the process calls for the planning board to initially review any zoning changes, to issue some sort of recommendation, and then for the city council to do its own review and determine what the final end product should look like. So, as you said, last week, the planning board dug into it. They had a lengthy discussion and review of our draft. Members of the public had the opportunity to speak. There were some issues raised about the interpretation of certain language, certain definitions that should be used. And the planning board drew attention to those changes in language, and I guess tried to bring that to the attention of the city council when they do their review. So a lot of it comes down to where exactly would an accessory dwelling unit be allowed by right here in the city. State law says any place where a single family home would be allowed by right, you can also have an ADU. We're now into the weeds, I'd say, of further interpreting exactly which current residences would qualify for an ADU, and that's in the hands of the council, and that was the attention that was drawn by the planning board. And again, this is the process we follow, so we appreciate the work of the planning board, and now it's on to the council.
Excellent. Thank you for that. We had some great news we've talked about, which is the state approved our community electricity program. And we have an important meeting coming up where we'll be going to bid on pricing, hopefully to come back with some things that are favorable to our community, which will be great. And we have a meeting on April 3rd to talk about where we are. And I'm new to the price bidding process. This is a new program for us. I don't know that we've gone through it before in the context of community electricity, although we've certainly gone through bidding processes as a city. I didn't know if you wanted to comment on what's happening there and encourage people to come to the meeting on the 3rd.
Yeah, so state law was passed some years ago that allows communities to do what's called community or municipal aggregation, which allows us to gather together as a group and try to get the best deals we can on our electricity needs. The best part of this program is no one has to do it if they don't want to. You can continue to buy your electricity and receive delivery of it the exact same way you're doing now. This just offers an opportunity to see if we can maybe generate some savings by gathering and bulking together and buying as a group. So we, in the last year or so, the city of Woburn decided to buy into that law and take advantage of the possibility to aggregate our community electricity purchasing. We've partnered with a company called Good Energy. They've done this in other communities. They're helping us walk through the process. And we're at the point now where the state has approved our plan, and now we get to go out to bid and see if we can get a good deal, see what the lowest rates are out there right now. So we'll get those bid results hopefully April 2nd. And after that, we'll have the opportunity at our meeting to share with interested folks exactly what the bid results are and the ins and outs of the process. And hopefully there's some attractive options and people get to take advantage of this. Again, the best part is if you're just not comfortable yet, or you'd prefer not to do it, or you just don't like the bid results, you don't have to do it. You can continue to receive your electricity exactly the same way you do now. So once we do the bid and we get the results and we have the community meeting and we talk about things, we'll lay out a timeline. We'll lay out the process. There'll be all sorts of information shared. So this isn't a surprise to anybody. And again, they can make up their own minds as to whether they want to participate or not.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm very hopeful after my last couple months of energy bills that this will help a little bit. We'll see what happens, but that's our.
We hope the outcome is at least a bit of a lower rate for our residents, and maybe take the sting out a little bit of some of these high energy costs.
Excellent. This week we've started our annual hydrant flushing. It's something we do every year to keep everything working as it's expected to be. Sometimes that can, provide a little bit of disruption to folks' homes. I thought we could give them a little bit of just in case they see something unusual, they're not surprised.
Yeah, it really is a necessary operation. It helps keep the clean water that we have, and it makes us, it gives attention to the pipes, and we can identify if there's any issues, and it's just a way to just keep things running smoothly. So it's just routine maintenance. We do it every year. It's actually starting today. We do it 8:30 to 3 during the day. The idea is that maybe most people are out and about at work or doing something, and the impact is minimized. We do understand that some people are home, and this could be a bit of an inconvenience for them. So, we apologize for that, but we think we've chosen the best time that works for most of the people. We do it in different zones throughout the city. There'll be notifications to the affected zones so people know. If there's any questions or concerns, they can always check the City of Woburn website. It has the schedule, has some FAQs that might help them understand the process. And we also have the water department telephone line. They're more than happy to help people understand what's going on and give them a heads up on how best to deal with it. It's usually as simple as running your cold water if you've got some discolored water coming out. That does happen sometimes when we're flushing the lines. But if you let the cold water run for a few minutes, it usually clears up pretty easily. But again, there's information on the website, and the water department can help. And we hope it's as painless as possible. And this routine maintenance helps us preserve the good water that we have.
Yeah, it is an important thing, and it's a nice time of year to do this as the spring is coming and the weather is getting a little bit warmer. And as the weather gets warmer, we're not quite out of the zone of, it's possible to have a little bit more snow. Hopefully we won't, but it could happen. But
Yeah.
pretty soon that will be behind us. And so this is the time of year folks are always asking, when will we know what roads we're paving? And what we're early in that process. We definitely don't have that done yet, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about the schedule.
Yeah, so the process is as it has been in years past. Best part of it, I think, is that it's data driven. We have a score for every road in the city, and we try obviously to pave the worst roads first. So we're in the process right now of updating that information and checking with the consultant that helps us with rating the roads. We also have the DPW and the engineering department weigh in. They have a lot of knowledge on history and previous attempts to upgrade roads, so their advice is helpful. We also have a new engineer on board. Alex Ruzicki came over to us from Reading, so he's pretty comfortable with this process. They do something similar in Reading, but we're getting him up to speed now. He's working closely with the DPW superintendent to come up with a list that prioritizes the roads and should start seeing the pavers out there late spring, early summer. It probably comes as no surprise to folks that we focus on the main roads. We try to make sure that the most highly traveled roads get the attention they need. We do understand that the side roads get wear and tear over time, so we try to include a few of those as well. And there is some balance. It's primarily roads that we do, but there's some sidewalk work that might be needed as we go along. So it's kind of a nice mix of science and data, but also practicality and experience and just a sense of what roads might need it the most. We do tend to try to share this list with the city council, so the different ward councilors and the at-large councilors have a sense of what's coming. We usually talk about it at our Thursday morning meetings. I would say that our list should be finalized in the next month or so, and you should start to see the paving late spring, early summer.
Excellent. Thank you for reminding us. And for those folks who haven't seen it yet, if you go to the homepage, there's sort of a road work icon on the top there. And as we know what roads are being paved and what dates or weeks, we'll be publishing that information there. That's where you can also find the fire hydrant flushing information as well. So we hope people will check into that and just take a quick peek as you need to. We try and keep that as updated as we can.
Yep. Appreciate that.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us as always. Appreciate your time, and I'm glad we got a lot of good stuff going on this week. We know we have some big topics at the next city council meeting, so excited to see everybody engaging and coming out of the winter and longer days and all kinds of good energy happening.
And happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody.
Thank you so much. Next up, Nabila.
Yes, hi. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so glad you're joining me from Communities United. I'm really excited to talk about the toy drive that you have coming up in honor of Eid holiday. Now, first of all, am I pronouncing that correctly? I did have someone once tell me that was the English pronunciation, but I'm not quite sure I have it right.
Yeah, so it is pronounced Eid, but there are two different Eid. So the one that we will be celebrating at the end of Ramadan is called Eid al-Fitr.
Oh, well, thank you for making that that clarification. I appreciate that. And I know it is sort of a celebration of breaking a fast. For those of us who don't celebrate the holiday, tell us a little bit about its significance and what it means.
Sure. So Ramadan is one of the five pillars of Islam, and Eid al-Fitr is significant in celebrating the end of a very intense month of fasting, prayer, self-reflection, and charity. It is also a time for families and friends to come together and enjoy food and drink and gift each other presents and dress up in new clothes.
I like that. Food and family and dressing up in new clothes all sounds like a really wonderful way to end what sounds like a really great reflective time for people.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's great. So you're hosting a toy drive. It sounds like that's one of the things that people enjoy doing with each other is exchanging presents and things. Tell us about the toy drive.
Yeah, so the toy drive is geared towards ensuring that our Muslim children that are enrolled in our program receive a gift at the end. Usually everyone does provide gifts to children at the end of Eid, so that it would be nice for our families that are celebrating Eid to have their children receive a gift at the end of the month. So.
I like it. And are you looking for toys for specific age groups or any guidance you'd like to share?
Yeah, so residents in Woburn can support the Eid Toy Drive by donating a new unwrapped toys for our Muslim children ages 0 to 5 years old that are enrolled in our program.
That's fantastic. And where is the location for drop off?
Sure. The location is going to be at our Woburn Creative Start Center, which is located on 470 Wildwood Ave in Woburn, Mass. And ideally, we would like it to be dropped off between the times of 2 to 4 p.m. so there isn't disruption during the classes time.
That's fantastic. And what's the deadline for dropping off donations?
Yeah, so the deadline will be this Friday, March 21st, just to ensure that we have enough time to distribute the toys to our Muslim families before Eid.
I love that. Now, I love to explore cultures and traditions through food just because I like to eat. And I think it's a wonderful way to learn about new experiences and new holidays and traditions. Are there specialty dishes that you particularly enjoy?
So the traditions of Eid al-Fitr can vary somewhat since Muslims originate from many different countries, especially when it comes to food. I know my family, we love to make biryani at that time. So yeah, we love to sit together and have biryani together.
Yum. Well, thank you so much for sharing your tradition with us and giving us a way that we can support families in this time. I'm excited to see what gets donated and appreciate you reaching out.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
You too. And last but definitely not least, Frank, welcome.
Hi, how you doing? Good to
I'm
see
good,
you.
thank you. Glad to be talking about the taste of spring. I mean, we've got food on the mind, so let's keep the food train going. Tell us about this year's Taste of Spring. What kinds of fabulous treats will be served?
Well, this year, actually, you mentioned Peeny's Pizza. They're one of our new restaurants that we have. So, for the price of $25, we have a lot of restaurants. We have Sam Walker's, Peppercorn, Sonyo is new, Marcos, Chick-fil-A, 110 Grill, Bickford's, Jack Coal-Fired Pizza, Redstone, Tinador and Curry, which is new, Tis Mezcal Cantina, Dave and Buster's, Foxden Brickyard, Chipwreck Cookie Company, King's Dining, Greater Lowell Tech, Tony C's, Northwest Metro, Scoreboard, Crown Plaza, Aviva Trattoria, Peeny's, like I mentioned, Kelly's Roast Beef, and Cutwater Spirits. So they're all giving you more than you can eat and drink. So that's all for $25. Plus, we've got entertainment from Bobby G and Frankie Bonsignor. And the Woburn Guild of Artists has their silent auction, as well as we have a sports auction as well.
That's fantastic. Well, challenge accepted. I like that. Try a little bit of everything there. That sounds good. I know the chocolate chip cookies that you mentioned were a big hit at the open house. We had some here for that, and folks really enjoyed those. So always nice to have a sweet treat with all that savory goodness.
Yeah, so it's Wednesday, April 2nd, 5:30 to 8:30 at the Crown Plaza. And, the benefit is for New Path, which is in town. We try to support the other, the city of Woburn, as well as Woburn Long Coast Lions tries to support all the other clubs in town. So we all work together, just doing the best we can.
I
So
love that. Now, for those who might not be familiar with New Path, remind us about the important work that they do.
they work for the people with disabilities, and then they're located in North Woburn. So they're a great community service company. So we also
Excellent.
have the dog walk on that Sunday, April 6th at the Lions Park. I think the mayor's bringing his new dog, right, Mayor?
Oh, Sophie's going to make a showing. That's going to be good.
That's what
I
I'm
don't
told,
know.
Frank. Anne Marie's talking about bringing Sophie down, so hopefully
Yeah.
she'll behave herself.
We will
I
have
have
a
to admit,
the new
I'm a little afraid to bring my Luna. I'm not sure she's big group, well behaved enough, but
Yeah.
it sounds like a lot of fun. Frank, before we hop off the Taste of Spring completely, just a quick last thing that I want to make sure we get in. Where can residents buy tickets? Because that's a great opportunity to support a cause and eat some great food.
They're available on Eventbrite, and you can also go on our website. We have Jack Moscow will bring tickets personally. They're a little cheaper when you buy them in person, so he can get them to you.
Fantastic. And for those who might not have participated in the dog walk, remind us what that's all about.
Well, this year the goal of the dog walk is to raise money for Needs, which is the company that makes the service dogs. And to actually train a service dog is almost up to $10,000 a year, a dog. So it's a lot of money. So we're trying to help up our donations by having this event. So we'll also have the new police dog from the city of Woburn. So not that anybody wants to pet him, but it's more for show. He'll be there as well.
Well, that's wonderful. It's a beautiful dog and well trained in their work. A real professional. It's amazing, actually, what the dogs do to care for people in their various jobs. It's a great cause.
Yeah, and Money Paws is the one that's helped and co-sponsored, so we certainly appreciate all their efforts with that as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us and talking about those two fun events. I couldn't finish this show this week without talking a little bit about Kindness Day that's coming up on Thursday. We have an incredible lineup of things, whether you're free in the morning, in the middle of the day, the afternoon, with the kids, without the kids, in the evening. So much goodness happening. I hope people have an opportunity to check out the schedule and join one of the really amazing things that are happening. And in the interim, Woburn, please continue to take good care of each other.